You're the one. Long, white, and thin, come and touch it. Su Nan travels to the world of tomb raids. Unconsciously interacting with Shirley Yang, opened the door and checked the water meter. The next morning, drowsy-eyed Su Nan had just opened the door when she saw a bunch of police officers standing at her doorstep. Shirley Yang. Police uncle, that's him. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 001, Shirley Yang lost her virginity and called the police to arrest me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. June 1987. The cold in the north has faded away, and the heat has begun to rise. The dust under the sunlight mixed with the mottled taste of the old era falls gently on a tender green willow tree. The willow tree is next to the roadside, with dense branches covering the entrance of a two-story building behind it. There is a sign of an antique shop hanging. Zhaoyue. Upstairs is the office area of the Kyoto Tsui troupe, and downstairs is the lobby, from which the sounds of string drums hitting the board, babbling, and startled tables can be faintly heard. The horse fell off the cliff, and the gentleman on the horse looked up. Book, song, and rap are categorized, but they all control the sound and try not to disturb others. Su Nan stood in front of her antique shop, with a trembling expression in her eyes. Shirley Yang. Return the photo to me. In fact, Su Nan is not a person from this world, but someone who crossed over recently. And this morning, sleepy-eyed Su Nan had just opened the door. I saw a cold and beautiful woman with a tall figure, wearing jeans, looking at me. It all starts from last night. Last night, the Jingjue Hotel in Kyoto. In the presidential suite. Under the dim light, the flickering red wine glass made Su Nan, as a consultant to Shirley Yang, feel hot and dry all over, facing the coquettishly panting Shirley Yang. Your leg. Long, white, and thin, come and touch it. Unconsciously, I spent a night together with Shirley Yang, enjoying a harmonious relationship between water and fish. The two of them were busy from the dawn until 3 a.m. Someone drugged me. After shaking her head, Su Nan washed herself up. Take out your Kodak camera from your backpack, take detailed photos, and leave them as evidence. Leave a note for Shirley Yang. He got up and returned to his antique shop, then fell asleep. Actually, Su Nan has a secret that no one knows. He is a traveler. 3 months ago, I traveled to this world and opened this antique shop with a watch. Because we successfully opened an antique store. He became a partner with Hu Pai and Wang Kaixian for the 16-character Yin Yang Feng Shui secret technique and massive knowledge of antiques that earned him system rewards. Under the introduction of Hu Bai, he became a collaborating consultant for Shirley Yang. At this moment, in the courtyard, due to the appearance of the beautiful woman Shirley Yang. Plus the conversation between the two people. Someone has already started pointing and pointing. This era is not like the world before Su Nan's travels, where high-rise buildings live opposite each other and are unfamiliar with each other. People in this era are quite enthusiastic, especially about such gossip. Come in and let's talk. Su Nan grabbed Shirley Yang's waist with one hand and pulled her into the antique shop. You're shameless. Shirley Yang blushed as she spoke and took out her mobile phone, ready to call the police. Seeing that Shirley Yang was about to report to the police and catch herself, Su Nan snatched Shirley Yang's mobile phone. After communication, both sides calmed down again. The two were indeed drugged last night. According to Shirley Yang's investigation, the person who prescribed the medicine was her female secretary from the American company. The female secretary is the youngest daughter of Shirley Yang, with blonde hair and blue eyes. She has always had a strong admiration for Shirley Yang in the turbulent waters. I originally intended to make ripe rice with raw rice while coming to Dragon Kingdom, but I applied medicine to a red wine glass, which ended up harming Su Nan. As an extremely independent woman who has received gender equality education in the United States, Shirley Yang believes that both of them are victims of this incident. But she never expected that Su Nan would take a photo, so she came knocking on her door. "I'm just protecting myself." After confirming that Shirley Yang had dispelled the idea of calling the police, Su Nan handed her the film. No wonder Su Nan felt like he had fought a team battle in a daze. The journey in the martial arts world is long, never to be seen again. Shirley Yang is a decisive and calm person who stands up to leave after receiving the film. At this moment, a mechanical sound suddenly came to Su Nan's mind. "Please shock Shirley Yang, the host, and reward the beginner with a big gift pack." After hearing the system prompt, Su Nan felt a bit confused all over. What a special thing. It has been 3 months since I traveled here, and only then did Nima give me the beginner gift package. If it weren't for this hidden plot, wouldn't this beginner's gift pack never be released? To find your exquisite ancient city, you must be in the windy season. And it is necessary to cross the Zagrama mountain and reach the Black Dragon Ridge in order to find the exquisite ancient city. If you search rashly like this, you won't be able to find it. And if you go to Jingjue ancient city, you must first go to Kunlun Snow Mountain and find the notebook your father left there. That notebook. I will give you the correct guidance. After you get the notebook, you will find that everything is exactly the same as I said. As Su Nan slowly spoke these words, Shirley Yang stood there in an instant. 002, let's reschedule. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You. How did you know all this? Shirley Yang's breathing became rapid, her chest fluttering one after another. The matter of Jingjue ancient city, although the clouds are mysterious, Su Nan may really be a little clearer. After all, she knows that Su Nan has a particularly rich knowledge reserve. Another exquisite ancient country did indeed exist in history, and there are also some documents available. So, it's understandable if Su Nan has read some secret remedies or just a few words somewhere. But there's something about my own father, but no one knows. Even her close female secretary is not clear about this matter. So Shirley Yang was so shocked for a moment. Is it true that there are people in this world who can count it as impossible? On second thought, I realized it was impossible. Perhaps last night when I was infatuated with Su Nani, my brain lost control and I might have said something. At this moment, a mechanical sound came to Su Nan's mind. Congratulations to the host, completing the system task and receiving the newbie gift package distribution. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining all Zhang Qilin's body methods, martial arts, and skills. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining oral skills, with a bright lotus tongue. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a drop of dragon heart blood, which can stimulate the dragon's bloodline. As the system sounds down one by one, detailed explanations of various rewards are also made clear. The tongue is lotus-shaped, flexible and soft, like a lizard stretching several tens of centimeters. It can be as soft as boneless and as hard as steel. When giving speeches or exercising, it naturally gives the other person a sense of empathy. Schwa. In an instant, Su Nan felt an absolute hegemonic force washing through his mind. Immediately after, all of Zhang Qilin's skills began to be practiced in his mind, and the various figures seemed to have experienced them firsthand. He seems to have experienced a series of soul-stirring tomb-robbing trips in his mind, killing enemies, zongzi and monsters. And fighting skills are generated in his mind, and those past experiences are integrated into his mind. Immediately after, his right middle and index fingers began to ache faintly, and he forcefully pulled out half an inch. After all of this was over, he saw within the system. There is also a brilliant drop of blood from the divine dragon's heart, emitting a breathtaking aura. Undoubtedly, as long as you take this, you can activate the divine dragon bloodline and avoid toxins. All of this, although experienced in Su Nan's mind for a considerable amount of time. But in reality, it only happens in a moment. However, in this moment of change, Shirley Yang felt that Su Nan seemed to be different. To be precise, it seems that a more confident and domineering force erupted from Su Nan. Are you willing to go with me to search for the exquisite ancient city? Shirley Yang saw that Su Nan did not answer her question and instead changed her tone to ask. I'm a bit tired, please go back. Su Nan has just received a big gift package and needs to digest it. And when Shirley Yang heard these words, her cheeks instantly became hot. What does it mean to be a bit tired? So, he's all tired, and he's still here like this, as if he's begging endlessly. However, seeing Su Nan give an order to expel guests, people with a personality like Shirley Yang can only go back first. The one I'm talking about. Let's reschedule. After finishing speaking, Su Nan closed the door directly, and Shirley Yang stood at the door wanting to knock. In the end, she could only grit her teeth and come back another day. Originally, he came with a fierce aura and even wanted to call the police to arrest people, but now he is directly locked out of the door by Su Nan. It's night. Su Nan took out the shining divine dragon blood suit from the system and went down. A drop of dragon's heart blood. The blood in the heart of the divine dragon is the ancestral bloodline, symbolizing auspiciousness and suppressing evil spirits. A drop of divine dragon's heart bloodline can prevent the host from being invaded by all kinds of toxins, ward off evil and poisonous insects, achieve longevity, and maintain a youthful appearance. Schwa. At the moment when Su Nan was subdued, he only felt a dense energy filling his whole body, and then all the meridians and even cells in his body were crazily transforming. An extremely powerful energy, like a raging fire, swam through one's limbs. If there were experts present, you could see that Su Nan was now completely surrounded by the flames. Looking up, there was an extremely domineering aura flowing around him. Ow! The sound of a dragon's chant pierced through the sky and spread throughout Kyoto. Countless ferocious birds and beasts were crawling on the ground in Kyoto, trembling and trembling, while in the originally dark sky, there seemed to be a flickering glow of 10,000 zhang. This divine dragon's bloodline is indeed domineering. After being tempered in the bath, Su Nan lifted his hands and feet, and an extremely domineering aura erupted on him. It seems that this world is spotless to him. 003, go to Jingjue Ancient City. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. However, this aura was rapidly introverted and quickly disappeared without a trace, just in Su Nan's eyes. There seems to be a sea of stars, making people unable to resist taking another look. It's hard to say there's any special feeling, but it just makes people feel peaceful and calm inside. At this moment, a mechanical sound came to Su Nan's mind again. Ding, the divine dragon blood obtained by the host is the heart blood of the divine dragon, which contains a great amount of energy. The host's current physical ability is not yet fully absorbed. If you want to absorb it, please sign into the north slope of Kunlun Mountain, receive the power of Kunlun Mountain Dragon Vein, and wash the essence and marrow again. Upon hearing the system prompt, Su Nan nodded. He also has this feeling now, which is that his power is extremely strong. But there is still a feeling that it has not been fully utilized. Before he received Zhang Qilin's skills, he feels that although he has mastered his skills, his physical fitness cannot keep up. Just like a baby with super high martial arts skills. Although they know everything, their killing power is limited. But when he took that drop of dragon heart blood and gained dragon blood, he felt the opposite. He possesses endless power throughout his body. All of Zhang Qilin's unique skills can be easily displayed and effortlessly executed. The only downside is, he realized that he had stronger strength, but his body couldn't withstand such force. Now it seems like this. As for the danger on the northern slope of Kunlun Mountain, Su Nan didn't care. Whether it's a prehistoric tyrant salamander or a fire ladybug, his divine dragon bloodline can maintain a certain degree of suppression, so self-protection is definitely not a problem. Just as Su Nan was still thinking, suddenly a sound of footsteps came from far to near. To be precise, there are 3 people. After awakening the divine dragon bloodline, his various abilities have also been improved to a certain extent. Miss Shirley, don't worry, it's just our brother's relationship with Mr. Su. If we don't move, not to mention the entire Panjiayuan, it's the entire Kyoto. It's impossible for anyone to invite Mr. Su. Do you think so, old who? Yes. Me, and Fatty. We've had decades of old friendship with Mr. Su, absolutely no problem. Oh. Aren't you Su Nan, who you only met after retiring from the military? Why do you say it's been decades? Hi. Miss Yang, you don't know now. Su Ye's father and our old who's father, that's a child. So. Alright, don't worry, as long as you can hire Su Nan, the commission will triple on the original basis. And Su Nan's reward is also the sum of the 2 of you. If you have any skills, just use them. I don't want to hear anything else. We're about to go somewhere, don't even talk, be careful not to expose your cards. However, as soon as the 3 of them finished speaking, with a creak, Su Nan opened the door of the antique shop. Looking at Su Nan with a playful expression on his face, Hu Paiyi, Wang Kaixian, and Shirley Yang stood there in an instant. After friendly negotiations, Su Nan agreed to the plan to move forward together. With the roar of the train, the search for the exquisite ancient city began. Because of previous communication, although Hu Ba-yi resisted the idea of changing his route to Kunlun Snow Mountain, he eventually accepted it. And the reason why Su Nan agreed to explore together is also based on this. In this era, various aspects of management were still relatively strict, and there were even troops stationed in Kunlun Snow Mountain. And the 9-story Demon Tower is located in the military control area on the north slope of Kunlun Snow Mountain, so if you don't have the convenience to follow the archaeological team, it's definitely not convenient. Once again, there is no conflict between oneself and the members of the archaeological team. The archaeological team is busy with their own work. It is difficult not to agree to the idea of managing food, housing, and paying back money while ensuring smooth passage. Bang dang. Bang dang. Bang dang. As the train continued to travel on the vast land, Su Nan was about to sleep when a soft female voice rang outside his private room. "Brother Nan, may I come in?" Upon hearing this, Su Nan knew it was Yi Yi-san from the archaeological team. Along the way, this little girl joined in the fun with her. However, most of them are seeking advice on antique knowledge and the like. But her feelings towards Su Nan were noticed by the entire archaeological team. Female college students in this era are still very shy about the issue of love between men and women. Su Nan is a traveler, and the various stories in his mind are completely overwhelming for this era. He can tell various exciting and bizarre stories about any antique. Especially under the skill of Su Nan's lotus tongue. Yi Yi-san often follows Su Nan's various stories, experiencing orgasms, scalp tingling, excessive tension, and excitement, which sometimes makes it difficult to breathe on her own. But the more it is like this, the more addictive it becomes, and now it's uncomfortable not listening all day. Su Nan did not expose anything about this. He also enjoys the feeling that others like to listen to him tell stories. The main difference is that the skill of tongue lotus is different from other skills. The more you use this skill, the more proficient and powerful it becomes. 004, can Su Nan still predict a blizzard? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Nange, I washed a few more apples. Do you want to eat them? Xiaoya, come in. With Su Nan's invitation, Yi Yi-san walked in with a hint of shyness. Bang bang. I'm talking about Mr. Su. It's just that old who talking about a bug with fire, after all. As soon as Yi Yi-san entered, Wang Kaixian crawled into Su Nan's private room. I suddenly remembered that I forgot to turn off the pressure cooker at home. I'll go back first. Alright, sit down. Su Nan glanced at Wang Kaixin. This guy doesn't find a decent one to justify himself. I forgot to turn off the pressure cooker at home, it's all on the train. If I really forget to turn it off, it will explode. Nange, can you tell me what that bug with a fire is? At this moment, Yi Yisun quickly asked to change the topic. However, it can be seen that she also sincerely sought advice. A pair of eyes full of admiration. At this moment, with Wang Kaixuan's movements, Shirley Yang and others also walked out of various private rooms. When they heard Yi Yisun asking questions everywhere, they all wanted to move forward. After all, Su Nan's storytelling ability is really impressive. They have also heard of it to some extent, and they are all eager to give up. Come over here, everyone. With a loud bang, just as Su Nan finished speaking, the entire archaeological team rushed in. Even Hu Piaoi can only stand outside the door and listen. The reason why he has some resistance to changing his route to Kunlun Snow Mountain is because he served as a soldier in Kunlun Snow Mountain back then. This kind of firefly killed more than 10 of his comrades in arms. So when Su Nan learned about this bug, he naturally wanted to hear about it. And Shirley Yang is because she has collected some information about this type of insect before. I want to see if the information on Su Nan's end corresponds to my own information. Others are all curious. In fact, the type of bug that carries flames and can fly is called a ladybug. The appearance of this insect is similar to that of a 7-star ladybug. But don't think it's just an ordinary bug. Fire ladybugs, their whole body is like red transparent crystals, and their wings are even more crystal clear. You can vaguely see the semi-transparent internal organs inside through the transparent shell. It seems that there is a faint flame flowing in it, which looks inexplicably mysterious and eerie. The fire ladybug is actually the light emitted by the phosphorus inside the corpse. Legend has it that it's not ladybugs, but fireflies, known as rotting fireflies. Rotten fireflies are recorded in both the Book of Rites monthly regulations of the Han Dynasty, the Gu Wuluan of the Song Dynasty, and the Gu Jingjue of the Western Jin Dynasty. The faint blue light emitted by this decay firefly is actually absorbing phosphorus from the corpse. This kind of phosphorus insect absorbs the phosphorus inside the corpse. Once a person touches it, it will naturally fly and disappear in an instant. It can be said to be an extremely cruel, big killing weapon. The most terrifying thing is that after receiving sufficient nutrition, these insects will self-divide. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, as long as there is enough breeding environment, a quantity that can cover the sky and sun can be formed in a short period of time. As Su Nan spoke, all the people present were sweating profusely. Mr. Su, as you said, this cannot be left behind by aliens, can it? A young man named Sa Diping in the archaeological team swallowed his saliva and asked. What aliens? You know aliens. No one has ever seen this kind of bug with their own eyes, so you're talking about aliens. At this very moment, Sa Diping's mentor Hao Aigua was just criticizing his students. There was a discussion about the fire ladybug among several people at Su Nan's antique shop at that time. The members of the archaeological team, except for Jingjue, the supervisor of Hao Aigua, are not clear. So in Hao Aigua's opinion, Su Nan is now a bit of a demagogue. What Su Nan said is true. This kind of bug does indeed exist, as recorded by Wilson, the editor-in-chief of the National Geographic magazine in the United States. Shirley Yang walked out of the crowd and handed over a document about the blue ladybug. Yes, back then on the northern slope of the Kunlun Mountains, we encountered this kind of insect, but we didn't know its name. At this moment, Hu Ba-yi also stood up and spoke up. As the data continued to be compiled, everyone present also breathed rapidly. But ultimately, inspired by Jingjue, everyone decided to go to Kunlun Snow Mountain. After arriving at the place, Jingjue seemed to be afraid of being late and would change. Everyone's confidence was disturbed, and they went directly to the place, holding red-headed documents and contacting the local station troops. After verifying the situation, the local station troops dispatched 2 soldiers to accompany the archaeological team to the north slope of Kunlun Mountain. 005, I took your blood. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In just half a day, everyone braved the wind and snow to reach the great rift on the north slope. The cold wind howls wildly. At this moment, a mechanical sound came to Su Nan's mind. Ding, congratulations to the host. Successfully checked in and arrived at the northern slope of Kunlun Mountain, gaining the power of Kunlun Mountain's dragon veins. Successful breakthrough. Schwa. In just an instant, Su Nan felt an endless sense of pleasure and activity throughout every cell. Congratulations to the host for successfully advancing to the first level of the Divine Dragon bloodline. Obtain the Divine Dragon's pressure, and the host can freely release the pressure in the Divine Dragon's bloodline. Congratulations to the host, their physical fitness has increased by 100 times, and their stamina has been increased from 9 to 900. The ultimate strength of humans is 457.5 kilograms, approximately 900 pounds. The host is increased to over 100 times that of an ordinary person, reaching 100,000 pounds. At the same time, the system rewards the host for completing the first task successfully, doubling it to 200,000 pounds. At the same time, an information table appeared in front of him. Host. Su Nan Bloodline. Divine Dragon Bloodline, First Order, Rare, 8888/12,000, Strength. 200,000 pounds, 100 tons. Physical Strength. 900, Ordinary Person 9, Speed. 100, Ordinary Person 9, Skills. Massive knowledge of antique appraisal, young man's skills, double finger exploration, bone shrinking technique, and corpse language. Immediately after, another mechanical sound came from Su Nan's ear. Please check in, the 9th floor Demon Tower, and obtain 800 EN Soldier's Death Attendants. The EN Soldier Death Attendant can help the host, collect treasures from ancient tombs, and exchange experience points. The host can also eliminate monsters, shock teammates, and gain experience points. At present, the host's experience value is 8888/12,000, which is 3,112 points less than upgrading to the second level Divine Dragon Blood. Who? Su Nan clenched his fist, and now his stamina is 900. The strength he can carry is 50 tons. That is to say, as long as he upgrades to the second level, he can directly unleash 200,000 pounds, which is 100 tons of power. A force of 100 tons. This is definitely a ceiling-level existence in the world of tomb raiding. Su Nan's current experience value is 8888, and the required upgrade experience value is 12,000. Just now the system also gave the answer, there are still 3,112 experience points left to upgrade to second level. The way to upgrade is to defeat monsters, touch treasures, and shock teammates. Everyone needs to speed up, there will be a blizzard coming in less than 3 hours. As Su Nan's words fell, everyone present looked at him in shock. Is there a blizzard? Is it really fake? Although everyone's itinerary was rushed, they did communicate with the local weather station before leaving. After learning that there was no weather warning, everyone continued to move forward. So when Su Nan mentioned a blizzard, everyone present felt a bit unbelievable. Su Nan's words also added a hint of terror to this weather. Regardless of whether there is a blizzard or not, everyone must complete this scientific examination as quickly as possible. Within 3 hours, whether there is any harvest or not, we must evacuate. The broken glacier is here, we can come back, but we must not make fearless sacrifices. At this moment, Shirley Yang spoke up. At this moment, she chose to stand on Su Nan's side, although it was unclear why Su Nan said so. But places like the Kunlun Mountains. It's common to have a clear sky for thousands of miles in the previous second and a blizzard in the next. Moreover, Su Nan had previously accurately revealed her father's situation, which made her curious about him. Lao Hu, can this feng shui still detect blizzards? Sure, feng shui emphasizes the numerology of the heavenly stars and earth veins, concealing wind and absorbing water, and integrating all things in heaven and earth. This blizzard is also within feng shui, so calculating it is not impossible, it's just. Just what? I just can't measure it, but Mr. Su may be able to. Hu Ba-yi is not talking nonsense because he is discussing feng shui with Su Nan. He found that Su Nan's understanding of feng shui far exceeded his own. Although he is not sure where Su Nan learned the 16-character yin-yang feng shui secret technique, it is a fact that he is stronger than him. Upon hearing Hu Baoyi's words, Professor Chen nodded thoughtfully and spoke. I didn't expect Mr. Su not only to have outstanding knowledge in antique appraisal, but also to be so skilled in feng shui. After receiving Professor Chen's affirmation, although the others present felt incredulous, no one questioned anything. After the climbing rope was fixed, everyone began to slide down. After gaining the skills of the young man activating the divine dragon bloodline to gain various bonuses, Su Nan quickly slid down with Shirley Yang. Why not come down with me so quickly instead of being with the female college student who admires you? Oh, I didn't take a single drop of her blood. Faced with Shirley Yang's questioning, Su Nan directly retorted. You. Shirley Yang couldn't help but feel angry when she remembered the fact that her blood had been taken away by the person in front of her. I didn't know what was wrong just now, but I was doing well all the way when suddenly it exploded. There's a corpse. At this moment, Su Nan's voice sounded cold, and Shirley Yang followed Su Nan's direction to look. Discovered a corpse lying not far away, and the coat worn by the corpse was his own father's. 006, the Suyi in front is really amazing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He. Shirley Yang took a deep breath to calm her mood and walked straight over. When facing pain, avoiding is a human instinct, but facing it directly is a skill. It is obvious that Shirley Yang is the latter, and her independent personality and calm demeanor in dealing with things are difficult for outsiders to understand. Just a hint of sadness in my eyes, fleeting, but it was captured well by Su Nan. Be prepared. Su Nan was naturally aware that this body was not Shirley Yang's father, but he still spoke in a suitable environment and said what was suitable for the environment. Shirley Yang nodded, she didn't expect this man to have such a delicate side at the critical moment. With Shirley Yang's nod, Su Nan flipped over the body of the corpse. He is my father's teammate. At the moment of seeing the body, Shirley Yang felt much more relaxed. In fact, there has never been a true explanation in the original work about where Shirley Yang's father is. Just serving as a foreshadowing to guide the entire plot. In the original work, Shirley Yang obtained her father's notebook from the 9th floor demon building. But judging from Shirley Yang's attitude towards the body carrying a notebook, it's not his father. There are various versions of this, and conspiracy theory and foreshadowing have been debated for many years. The two quickly dug out 2 handguns from the body. Glock G17 has a capacity of 17 rounds and both guns are full, indicating that the victim died before firing. This type of gun is known as the King of Secret Service, and currently only the elite military and police of the United States can equip it. There is very little outflow in the black market, let alone in the Asian region. You Americans always like to sell things that have been phased out for several generations to the world, triggering wars. This latest type of firearm is absolutely not allowed to flow out. It seems that the person your father hired this time is highly likely to be a retired mercenary from the U.S. Special Forces. As she spoke, Su Nan handed Shirley Yang a handful and then put it away herself. He has the skills of a young man, but he still has some marksmanship. And the reason why Su Nan accurately said these things is to make Shirley Yang understand that she had better be smarter in front of herself. I don't know. After taking the gun and putting it away, Shirley Yang directly denied it. She and Su Nan are at odds with each other for this kind of behavior of not admitting when they put on their pants. At this moment, others also slid down one by one. After explaining a few words, everyone began to move forward. The appearance of the body was not surprising to everyone. The distress signal from Shirley Yang's father's entire team was sent out from here. People also disappeared here, so having a body is normal. As they continued to move forward, some strange sounds fell into everyone's ears. Cici Lioli. Cici Lioli. This sound is not very clear at the bottom of the big crack, it seems to be non-existent. What kind of sound is this? Another young man in the archaeological team, Chu Jian, spoke softly. There's no sound, where did the sound come from? Satapeng looked at Chu Jian strangely and asked, glancing left and right. Everyone expressed that they had not heard any sound. It's the sound of flowing water from an underground river. There's an underground river ahead, everyone be careful, there may be some danger in the water in such places. At this moment, Su Nan slowly spoke up. With Su Nan's reminder, everyone present cheered up. And Yi Yisin also approached Su Nan at an inappropriate time, closely following him. Brother Hu, why don't you build an underground military base or something in such a big place? As it continued to move forward, the entire crack became increasingly open. At this moment, Gawa, a border guard who was following Hu Pai, asked with a puzzled expression on her face. Hu Bai, as a senior who once served in the military here, also served as a company commander, and was a combat hero, so Gawa naturally admires him. Gawa. If you don't speak, no one will treat you as mute. At this moment, Gawa's class leader spoke out in a stern reprimand. Hu Pai only patted Gawa's shoulder and warned her that the new recruit's ideological consciousness had not kept up. Is it possible to talk nonsense about secret military bases? Besides, there's an American girl ahead. Gawa has a simple and honest personality, and after a few minutes, she asked again. Hey, brother Hu, have you been here before? Hu Ba patted Gawa's shoulder and said. After I go out, I'll tell you slowly. Gawa looked at Hu Ba with a look of admiration and said. You don't have to say it, I can even think of it with my toes. You must have been here before, and at first glance, you're not an ordinary person. Hu Piaoi waved his hand and said. What am I? Look at the Suyi in front of me, he's not an ordinary person. As everyone spoke, they walked forward and soon arrived at a hidden river. Is there really an underground river? Everyone looked at Su Nan in surprise. 007, Mr. Su, I apologize to you. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. As those shocked and puzzled eyes turned toward Su Nan, mechanical sounds echoed through his mind. Host triggered Chu Jian, shocked, experience points +2. Host triggers Satapen, shocked, experience points +2. Host triggered Yi Yisin, shocked, experience points +2. Gawa shocked +5, border defense squad leader shocked +10. Host triggered Haoigua, shocked, experience points +15. Host triggered Jingjue, shocked, experience points +30. Shirley Yang +45. It seems that everyone's status and knowledge are different. In the same shocking situation. The experience values given are also different. Su Nan made a summary from this. In a short period of time, Su Nan's experience value increased by 111, and his experience value also increased from 8888/12,000 to 8999/12,000. Seeing this change, Su Nan instantly thought of a possibility in her heart. If that possibility holds, then one can maximize their own benefits. At this point, he decided to take Hu Piaoi and Wang Kaixian for a walk. However, at this moment, a voice of worshipped women echoed in Su Nan's ear once again. At such a long distance, Nan Gu, you can even calculate that there is an underground river here. Yi Yisin swallowed her saliva and couldn't help but be surprised. Yes, this is quite amazing. My listening skills have been excellent from childhood to adulthood. It's just a sound of listening. I never expected that Su Yi could even hear the underground river during this 10-minute journey. Chu Jian looked at Su Nan, his face full of disbelief. Su Nan smiled without explaining, but spoke up. The water in this underground river is warm. The ecological environment here is very good, and there may be some organisms that do not follow common sense. Everyone, hurry up and rest, we still need to continue exploring. Understood. After testing the water quality of the underground river and finding no problems, everyone began to wash and replenish water. Slowly because of Su Nan's massive knowledge reserves. First, he conquered Yi Yisin. Then there is Sadapen, who loves aliens, and now even Chu Jian, who has excellent hearing, has been conquered. Wang Kaixian and Hu Paiyi are already friends with Su Nan and have long admired them. And Jingjue also showed great respect to Su Nan. For a while, as time passed, the majority of the entire archaeological team admired Su Nan. Just as everyone was preparing, Su Nan walked up to Wang Kaixian and whispered softly. "Fatty guy, do you want to get rich?" At first, Wang Kaixian didn't react until Su Nan patted his backpack and stared at him, then he got the boss. When Wang Kaixian heard about becoming rich, his whole voice became a bit agitated and stuttered. Poverty is indeed a heart-wrenching knife. In Nyoshin Mountain, Wang Kaixian, who had never stuttered with Zongzi, stuttered with Kai Kai. How to do it? Hu Ba gave Su Nan a glance without explicitly stating it. The communication between smart people does not need to be too clear or even say anything. The tacit understanding between smart people is enough for communication. Hu Ba Yi's concern is very simple. With this group of people following, they cannot pick up the leak and need to find a reason to separate them. Su Nan, who is familiar with the plot, naturally knows how to attract the attention of these archaeologists. I saw him take a flashlight and shine it on the wall. In an instant, rows of snake-like words on the wall caught my eye. Sleeping trough. What is this thing that looks eerie? Wang Kaixian didn't pretend this time. The text on the river wall illuminated by Su Nan was indeed very eerie. When a flashlight shines, it feels like a live snake and centipede, twisting and twisting as if it can move. His strange cry instantly attracted many people. This is Ghost Cave text. At this moment, Su Nan is very suitable for a suitable way of speaking. Ghost Cave 1. Mr. Su. Do you also know Ghost Cave 1? Upon hearing the 3 words, Ghost Cave text, Hao Aigua was completely shocked. He, who was originally squatting in the underground river washing his face, rushed over in an instant, crawling and rolling. Ghost Cave text. It's really Ghost Cave text. Surprisingly, it's really Ghost Cave text. Hao Aigua grabbed Wang Kaixian's flashlight and turned excitedly to shout at Jingjue. Teacher, come and take a look. What's written on this is really ghost hole text. Ah. Upon hearing this, Jingjue was originally planning with Shirley Yang on the next steps, but now he couldn't care anymore. He quickly ran over in small steps. 008, Su Nan shocked the members of the archaeological team, the people. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's Ghost Cave text. I never expected Mr. Su to be so knowledgeable that he even recognizes Ghost Cave text. This is the language of Jingjue country. There are Ghost Cave texts here, which means there must be a connection between this place and Jingjue kingdom. This also fully explains why Shirley Yang's father, who was originally going to the southern edge of the Taklamakan Desert, the lower reaches of the Naya River, suddenly changed his route to Kunlun Snow Mountain and came here. They must have received some news too. Discovered these. Mr. Su. You are truly a remarkable discovery. You have made great contributions to the study of the history of our country's elite country. If it weren't for you discovering these early, it's just us old corrupt scholars who patronized drinking water. Maybe I missed it. This magical and great project. Jingjue looked at those ghost cave texts with rapid breathing, and the shock in Su Nan's eyes was self-evident. And at this point, Hao Igua ran to Su Nan's side, his whole body trembling and his face swollen and turning red. He exclaimed excitedly. Oh my! Su! Mr. Su! I apologize to you. I sincerely apologize to you. You're adult, have a large amount. Please forgive me, this stinky old nine. To be honest with you, I used to treat you like those local masters and tomb robbers. Now I realize that you really have knowledge. Hao Igua held Su Nan's hand with excitement on his face, a sincere expression on his face, red eyes, and tears streaming down his face. This is the first time ghost cave writing has been discovered since the founding of the People's Republic of China, and its significance and value are self-evident. Hao Igua has climbed to the national first-class professor level. We've reached the top. To remain famous in history, one must have absolute achievements. And this ghost hole text. It's his record. However, his words somewhat dealt a blow to Wang Kaixian and Hu Paiyi. I'm so special. This little brat. Wang Kaixian really wants to go up and beat up Hao Igua at this moment. What's all this guy talking about? It's okay to grab your own flashlight, and you don't even consider yourself as a tomboy or tomb raider with your mouth full of words. Do you still need to snatch the first release of the ghost cave text? Fatty guy. Hu Ba saw something wrong and pulled him up, then patted his backpack. Tell him that money is the most important thing. These people don't look up to themselves, what are they? What if it's their first game? These people are very concerned about leaving a name in the annals of history, but they don't care about being a mediocre captain. It can even be said to be very taboo. The key to making a fortune is to make a fortune quietly, but who is particularly clamoring around the world? However, with Su Nan's discovery of the ghost cave text, his position in the entire archaeological team has once again risen. Host triggered Chu Jian, shocked, experience points +2. Host triggers Sadapen, shocked, experience points +2. Host triggered Yi Yisin, shocked, experience points +2. Wang Kaixian was shocked +15, Hu Paiyi was shocked +20. Host triggered Hao Igua, shocked, experience points +45. Host triggered Jingjue, shocked, experience points +75. Shirley Yang +60. Shua, Su Nan's experience points have increased once again. This time, Gawa and the Border Defense Squad leader were not shocked. For the two of them, it's better to have some first-class skills in walking, such as being a foreign spy or something. But this time Hu Paiyi and Wang Kaixian were shocked. They already knew Su Nan's abilities about the underground river before, so it wasn't a shock. But this time, as soon as this ghost hole text came out, it instantly shook the two of them. Besides, the reason why Hao Igua and Jingjue were shocked and doubled is because their scalp was numb from being shocked by Su Nan. They never expected that Su Nan would even know Ghost Cave 1. Shirley Yang was also amazed in her heart. And Su Nan's experience value has once again approached the 9215/12,000 of the 10,000 mark. With the discovery of Gaidongwen, the eyes of these scientific researchers couldn't be pulled off the wall in an instant. Professor Chen, I'm looking at the road ahead of the river, I'm looking forward. Okay. Professor Chen nodded while agreeing. His thoughts are all focused on the ghost cave text now, and he doesn't have time to care about it. That, Chu Jian, you and. When Professor Hao Igua reacted and turned to look around, discovered that Su Nan had already left with Hu Paiyi and Wang Kaixian. I'll go. Shirley Yang had long realized that there was something wrong with these three people, so she told Professor Hao Igua and immediately chased after Su Nan. Professor, what's going on? Chu Jian heard his mentor call him, so he immediately ran over. Hurry up with Miss Yang and Mr. Su, go see how things are over there. 009, the eerie and terrifying 9-story demon tower frightened and paralyzed the king. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After all, Su Nan, Hu Paiyi, and Wang Kaixian were hired externally. Even if the members of the archaeological team are close to him, they cannot completely rest assured. In fact, hiring these external personnel to participate in archaeological operations by the archaeological team itself carries great political risks. If not done well, decades of effort and innocence will be destroyed in one fell swoop. So it is extremely rare for Jingjue to have the courage to invite foreign aid in the traditional circle of archaeology professors. This is also why Hao Igua opposed it from the beginning. As first-class professors in the country, they have long been successful and there is no need to take risks. That's why. As a national first-class professor, Hao Igua's attitude towards Wang Kaixian is not very friendly. Academicians look down on muddy legs. This phenomenon is the same in later generations. In Kyoto, there was an old man surnamed Ma who was very impressive in the antique circle. But any graduate student from the Department of Archaeology can beat him around on the show. And Lao Ma could only blush, hold his breath, and endure any skill he had, saying words of self-identification and comfort, at most not participating in such programs. The reason behind this is that they are the country's job, not the prestige of their surname Ma. When the national machinery stands up, everything has to shut up. Few individuals can directly confront the entire national machinery and silence the country in front of them. Very few. Just like the police station, they also hire some old pickpockets as consultants, although they are very polite and respectful, and even give certain special treatment. But deep down, I still feel that I and the other person are two different types of people. But for Su Nan, they do have another feeling. Whether in terms of professional knowledge or a vast knowledge reserve of antiques. They all believe that Su Nan is a relic of the sea and a treasure that has been lost among the people. Moreover, how could a person who can name an antique shop Zhaoyue have a poor cultural knowledge reserve? Master Su. Ha! Master Su, please slow down, Master Su. Wang Kaixian chased after him all the way and almost vomited. If you don't listen to the advice of exercising more and losing weight in your daily life, regret it now. Hu Ba-yi is not much better, but he still has the strength to teach Wang Kaixian a lesson. The members of the archaeological team are chasing after us. If you don't leave, you won't be able to get anything good. The maximum speed for a normal person is 9, and Su Nan's promotion speed to the divine dragon bloodline is 100, so he is completely killing others in seconds. If it weren't for verifying his own conjecture, he wouldn't have taken Wang Kaixian and Hu Ba to the 9th floor demon building. Ah! Upon hearing this, Wang Kaixian took a swift step and directly surpassed Su Nan. This scene made Hu Piaoyi look foolish in an instant. What are you doing in a daze? Hurry up. I won't be able to drink any more soup later. As he spoke, Wang Kaixian turned around and pulled Su Nan forward. Although Wang Kaixian's physical strength was the worst in the whole audience, when it comes to money, it's really more impressive than anyone else. What kind of Zongzi ghost has a weak body, can it be more scary than being poor? As a few people ran quickly, they kept shuttling through the underground river. After running for about 10 minutes, I finally arrived at a cave. Wang Kaixian panted heavily and sat on the ground, intending to take a break, but suddenly let out a loud cry. What's so special about this? A terrifying 9-story building emitting blue light caught his eye. However, the most frightening thing is not the 9-story building. But there are countless people hanging on top, and those hanging corpses are constantly swaying with the gentle breeze. A white-yellowed shroud, with a dim and eerie blue light. This sudden blow after a person's body was hollowed out caused Wang Kaishuan's head to momentarily crash. Shoo! Keep it down, those blue ones are ladybugs. Hu Piao glanced at it and felt his scalp tingling. The blue light on the 9-story building, what kind of light, is the result of countless ladybugs illuminating it. The entire 9-story building is densely packed with blue light and electricity, forming a light band. How many ladybugs is this? I'm afraid tens of thousands are needed. Back then, a ladybug buried the entire battle team of Hu Ba. These tens of thousands of ladybugs, if they were to be touched many times, they wouldn't be enough to die. But when Su Nan looked at the 9-story demon building, he felt lost in thought. He's going to verify his hypothesis. However, at this moment, a mechanical sound suddenly came to Su Nan's mind. Congratulations to the host for arriving at the 9th-floor demon building and successfully checking in. The host was successfully obtained, and 800 soldiers died as attendants. The responsibility of these soldiers' death attendants is to help the host empty various ancient tombs and exchange experience points for the host. All soldiers are death attendants. It has already gathered in Jingjue ancient city. Please summon your soldiers' death attendants when the host arrives at the Jingjue ancient city. Well, Su Nan is not surprised by the system's reminder. If there were 800 soldiers waiting for him in this 9-story demon tower, he wouldn't believe it. After all, it's impossible to fit here. And now, he is going to enter this 9-story demon building. Verify your other hypothesis. 010. Obtain the mysterious power of the ghost cave and suppress the fire ladybug. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, Wang Kaishuan's voice rang in Su Nan's ear. Mr. Su, what exactly is this building? Why are there so many corpses next to it? Su Nan looked at the frightened Wang Kaishuan and slowly spoke up. The name of this object is 9-story demon tower. It is an ancient demon kingdom, the burial site of emperors' tombs throughout history. Those corpses, probably those who were unaware of the terror of the 9-story demon tower, were killed. Wang Kaishuan was momentarily excited as he listened to the sleeping halls of emperors throughout history. No matter what kind of demon country it is, there must be treasures in the place where the emperor is buried. But, thinking about those ladybugs, Wang Kaishuan felt a bit scared again. Those corpses were placed in front of us, piles of white bones piled up there, truly warning future generations of what the cost of entering was. It's like a cave full of venomous snakes, with several large boxes of gold in hand without any handy tools. I want to go in and be afraid of death, and I want to walk back to get tools. But I'm afraid that when I come back, someone will take the lead. The most important thing is that facing so many ladybugs, Wang Kaishuan felt that there was nothing he could do. Back in the day, with a team of soldiers or steel guns in hand, Hu Ba's area had lost so many lives. What could they do? I can only sigh at Baoxing. However, at this moment, Wang Kaishuan and Hu Pai saw a scene that made their scalp tingle. Su Nan surprisingly walked step by step towards the 9th-floor demon building. Su Yi. What are you doing? Come back quickly. However, no matter how softly Wang Kaishuan shouted, Su Nan walked forward step by step. What should we do? Keep up. Hu Ba saw Su Nan walking forward and had no choice but to take a small step to keep up, thinking of being within the safety line and quickly pulling Su Nan back. Abandoning comrades in arms is something that Hu Pai will not do. But he wouldn't do anything that was sacrificed in vain, so all he could think of was to bring Su Nan back as soon as possible. At this moment, Su Nan is very clear that according to the plot, Shirley Yang's father's notebook should appear here. So the paradox here comes out. All lives attacked by ladybugs will be directly extinguished and turned into a pile of ashes. But he now sees the dead body lying on the ground intact. And there were no injuries at all, so how did they die? One more thing, according to the original work, the ladybug does not attack Shirley Yang. The reason is that Shirley Yang is a descendant of the Zagrama tribe, which is also a member of the Prophet tribe, so the ladybug does not attack her. So how do we explain the attack on her father? Can't this descendant just skip Shirley Yang's father and directly intergenerational? Also, there are a lot of people lying on the ground that haven't turned into ashes, so can't it all be Shirley Yang's father, right? Another theory is that Shirley Yang was reincarnated as the Queen of Exquisite Beauty, so she was not attacked. This statement needs to be verified by Su Nan in the plot, but these corpses are actually lying here. So there must be something wrong with these corpses. At this moment, those ladybugs also felt Su Nan's presence and began to slowly approach her. Facing the fire ladybug spreading its wings, Su Nan snorted coldly and randomly exerted divine dragon pressure. Shwa! A burst of wild wave energy transformed into a divine dragon and instantly shook back those ladybugs. Meanwhile, Hu Paiyi and Wang Kaixian in the distance watched in shock as they watched the scene. Lao! Hu, why do those bugs seem to not attack Su Yi, and even seem a bit afraid of him? You ask me. How do I know? And a more magical scene emerged. They actually saw Su Nan squatting on the ground, touching those corpses. Sure enough, I followed Su Nan's touch of the body. A reminder came into Su Nan's mind. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained the mysterious power of the ghost cave, and the divine dragon's power has increased by 1. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained the mysterious power of the ghost cave, and the divine dragon's power has increased by 1. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained the mysterious power of the ghost cave, and the divine dragon's power has increased by 1. As the pressure of the divine dragon continued to increase, Su Nan felt that the mysterious power he had gained from the ghost cave seemed to have stronger restraint against these fire ladybugs. It's completely the kind with relative attributes. If the fire ladybug had only kept a distance from itself, now it has been frozen directly. Yes, the ladybug's not far from Su Nan, as Su Nan once again exerted the power of the divine dragon. Surprisingly, it all feels like someone has cast a immobilization spell. All freeze there. Although constantly waving its wings, it cannot move at all. How are these ladybugs doing? At this moment, Hu Paiyi and Wang Kaixian have already rushed over. I don't know. As Su Nan spoke, he threw several stacks of beautiful women and watches that he had just ground off the body at Wang Kaixian. And only one notebook was left, which was Shirley Yang's father's notebook. He must be too lazy to take these things, they are all stolen goods. If they are discovered, it will damage his reputation. When it's time to exchange it for money, just give it to yourself. Wang Kaixian doesn't care about that, just pick it up and pack it in his backpack. Master Su, don't worry, these are all things you discovered, they are all yours. Old Hu and I only discovered it together with us. You bring us here, you take the big head, and I'll share some soup with Lao Hu. The biggest advantage of Wang Kaixian is that he can handle it clearly.